in some way, the group and the individual, they kind of like, they click in this way. And I really do think, and I think that that's I love the word you use, and for some reason I'm thinking you say progression, but it's evolution. Is the
Yeah.
evolution of the group. It's not a
Yes.
progression. Progression is more
Right.
sound more linear.
Yes,
A
that's
happens,
right.
B happens, C happens.
Right,
Where
right.
the evolution is more, it almost feel for me that is happening both within the individual internally and externally within the group.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
And that both of us, the group and the individual, both of us maintain our own individuality and identity. And then in the middle, it's where the fusion happen. And I think that that's the place where you say we're reaching across the board. I think that when we're in that place, some people like to say that's the sweet spot. When we in that space in the middle where we can,
Mhm.
um, in a way, see the aspects of the group and the aspects of the individual, and see those as not as one, because they still not like all meshed together, but we can see the in a good way the symbiotic relationship of these two things, the how they support each other, right? And I think that that's the beauty of this. And talking about the evolution of this even the evolution and transformation of this group, because it did start out with you offering this sort of like, let's do this tiny little thing,
Right.
and
That's right.
it has transformed. And the group, it's not a therapy group, but it
Right.
has a therapeutic impact.
Yeah.
Right. 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 Yes.
The group responses or the group communication carries things further. So in
Yeah.
the case of Nancy, even if people then reflect on what she says and say what comes up for themselves, then that may also carry it further for her again. So that way the group kind of like makes something.
Yes.
new. Yeah.
Yes. We're aware of the group making something, not just that the group happens to make something while they're helping the one person. How we have the group and we have the individual, and each retains their integrity.
Yeah.
It's not like what Jean is afraid of, where
Mhm.
the individual gets meshed into the group. And it's also not like the group is an invisible helper to the person.
You know, the individual and the group, and this is what they meet. And yeah, each one retain the individuality. And yeah, there are those places where they meet, and they are in synchronicity with each other, where you feel just as much as an individual and a part of the group.
Mm.
And those are the moments where I think, for me, I keep going back to. Those are the moments where it's, Oprah Winfrey likes to say, those are the aha moments that
Uh-huh.
happen for me. Ah, and
Yeah.
then something else open up, and that's the carrying forward. Like with what I share, the carrying forward for me is I can share this with other people,
Yes.
right? But that only happened as a result of the group conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as an individual, I couldn't see the other, that carrying forward, that shame. I couldn't see what was underneath not wanting to share. But
Yes.
in the group, that was that was revealed. Not necessarily by a group member, but it was revealed internally from me.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then put out into the group, and the group received it, right? And then I took back. It's almost like, oh, I'm now taking this with me, and I went.
Yes, yes.
And so when you
Mhm.
ask me how was it for you, and I felt liberated, and I felt that whether I choose to share this or not, I'm not choosing not to share out of fear, out of shame. You see that
Yes,
the
it's,
distinction there for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Mm.
a very important distinction. Yes. And I think shame is such an important factor, and shame feeds on secrecy and silence. And when something can be spoken and shared and responded to, then it breaks those bonds of shame.